Welcome to Beyond Humanity, brought to you by HiveOne.net. With us today is Matt Reddy, host of the Mindful Activist webcast, published author of Revolutionary Mindfulness, and a hospital commissioner in Jefferson County, Washington. He's an amateur ufologist, creator of HiveOne.net, and a philosopher. I'm Margaret Howe, product manager of New Perspective LLC. In the Beyond Humanity podcast today, we'll explore the possibilities and implications of artificial intelligence and alien life for human evolution, identity, and destiny. We want to invite anyone on Earth, humans, aliens, reptilian, AI, interdimensional beings, and Met fans. We are sponsored by the Sisterhood of the Fork-Tongued Worm. Matt, today you said you had some super geniuses of the day. Who are they?
Okay. Super geniuses of the day. Sorry, I'm a little distracted. I have to apologize to the Twitter Space audience because I didn't unmute my microphone quite for the full intro. So they, for people in the future who are tuning in, they didn't get your wonderful full intro to the Beyond Humanity episode. So I apologize for that. Okay. Super geniuses of the day. I mean, I'm a little hesitant because I don't totally, I have some mixed feelings about one of them. I mean, I have mixed feelings about both of them, and they're very on the fringe of the woo of the UFO alien world. You know what? And I'm just gonna can I just give an intro to both of them before I name them? That way it doesn't color.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've come to the personal realization that we have to think telepathy might be real. That, it seems, not only the realization that, of course, that non-human intelligence on Earth is real. That is if you're looking at the evidence, it seems undoubtedly there's a ton of evidence that that is the case. A ton of circumstantial and really credible testified to evidence. That's one level, but the level after that is, it seems, if that's true, then telepathy might definitely be true. And if telepathy really is a true thing, it might be something some humans can do, or can do with practice or with technology. And so, and I think it's probably true that it's possibly, I've come to the conclusion through my own personal meditation practice that it seems there's doorways through a meditation practice that, if I was way more open-minded to telepathy being possible, I think I'm starting to understand how someone might go through those doorways. And then if you can achieve telepathy and there's aliens in our universe, then that means there's millions of possible. Oh, hey, someone just dropped into Twitter Space.
Hello.
Hey, we're just.
Hello. Where are you from?
Hey, we're recording a show. Well, I'm in Washington State. Where are you from?
Oh, I'm from Islamabad, Pakistan.
Are you happy to join our UFO and alien recording podcast right now?
Yes.
Awesome.
Awesome.
What you're talking about?
Well, I was sharing the genius of the day, or the geniuses of the week, and I was giving an intro to them. I haven't named them yet. I was just saying, building up to revealing the two geniuses of the day. And yeah.
Okay, you were talking about telepathy.
I'm not understanding you if you speak slow.
Okay. Well, we were talking about telepathy, and if aliens are real, then it seems that telepathy must be, or might be, real. And so I was talking about how someone might figure out through meditation how to have telepathic connections with aliens. And then I was going to reveal the two geniuses of the day who both seem to claim that they have telepathic communication with aliens.
Do you believe that the alien exists?
Yeah, What do you think, Margaret? Do you agree?
The aliens exist? Yes, that's why I'm here. Yep.
What do you
Yep.
think?
How you can say convince me that the aliens exist? I don't think so. That the aliens exist.
You don't think so?
Well, I'm a Muslim. What I say, I will talk in the context of Islam. I tell you that there are some species of Almighty Allah, like you can say it's we say Jinn and angels.
Yeah, definitely. We've actually really considered that before. There
are some, you can say angels. If you say they are aliens, yes, they are not. You can say human beings. And one more species, we say it in Islam, Jinn. Other than this, I don't have any information or knowledge. But these two things we can, you can say, make it in a definition of alien.
Yeah, we've been talking about jinn and angels and demons as a possible another word for whatever the non-human intelligence on Earth is. It seems that I'd really love to understand more about the jinn. And for instance, have you personally ever like encountered one or known anyone that encountered a jinn or angel?
Yes, it's a very interesting question. I myself haven't encountered this, but I have full, you can say, belief on these two things as a Muslim. And there is a place in Saudi Arabia that is called Jinn place. Or there are some, you can say, things happen unnaturally, you can say not in a, you can say in a normal way or normal behavior. Furthermore, there are angels. We have full belief as a Muslim that they exist and they have their duties. Allah Almighty has given to them and they are performing their duties. And this is what, if you say that those are aliens, yes, you can say it, but they exist here on the earth and also outside the earth. And but I would like to listen you, both of you, then I will speak something else.
Excellent. Could I ask one question? You mentioned, was that in Saudi Arabia or did you say South Arabia that this jinn place was? I didn't quite understand that part.
Yes, yes. You can Google it. And you can Google the Jinn. And I'm not, I don't, it's not coming in my mind, the English of Jinn. But you can Google it.
Okay.
You speak it, I Google it and then inform you, tell you, okay?
Wonderful. Thank you.
I linked to you, Matt, Wadi al Jinn and Wadi al Badai. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correct.
Okay.
Are places in Saudi Arabia where people talk, and apparently it's actually in the scripture. Is it in the scripture?
Yeah, I believe
Ofeker.
based on my research, there's definitely mentions, but we can come back to that. I could continue the genius of the day. the telepathy connection. And I really like, that was a wonderful like exploration. So I really appreciate having someone join the show for a little bit and share their thoughts. That's great. Okay, so I was talking about, it seems to me that if aliens of some sort, non-human intelligence, are real, then telepathy could quite likely be real. There are many stories of aliens using telepathy and explaining that it works. And then there's also, throughout ufology, there's many stories of people claiming telepathic connection, communication with aliens, or remote viewing is another thing that everyone, even Lou Elizondo, has a connection to remote viewing. That is, he has never explained which, but he did clearly acknowledge it to be a part of his life. And I think that's probably one of the reasons Lou Elizondo is still a little controversial. But in any case, the two people I want to mention are Stephen Greer and Elizabeth April. And they are, I first encountered Elizabeth April on the Danica Patrick show. Danica Patrick did an interview with her, and in fact, Danica Patrick has also had Stephen Greer on. So Danica Patrick, she might be an interesting, I think she is like onto something. She's had very interesting people on. And when I listened to her interview with Elizabeth April, it blew my mind, because Elizabeth April was just like, yeah, aliens are real. And she knows a lot about them because she claims she telepathically travels and communicates with aliens. And I've listened to, you know, a couple hours at least of her stuff, and it is a consistent narrative. It makes a lot of sense. They sound like genuine conversations. If she's making it all up, she is a creative genius, because it really is helpful to have a great coherent narrative of what someone thinks is going on. I mean, she even names celebrities that and says they're reptilians. I mean, she just
Wow.
she knows what she knows, and she claims she gets it all from her own telepathy and travel. So anyways, fascinating person, and seems like a nice human being. But and so anyways, and then Stephen Greer. Everyone knows Stephen Greer because he's massively controversial in the UFO alien community. And the reasons for that are very complex and go over many decades, because the guy's been around a really long time. But I listened to his guided meditation, which is what he claims a practice that helps you telepathically communicate with aliens. And I've been meditating for many years, off and on. I wrote a book about it, so I was very comfortable just sitting down to let Stephen Greer do a guided meditation. And I honestly have to say, one, it's like the best guided meditation I've ever encountered. It is so rational and safe. He's not trying to force anything into your brain. He's not trying to force any ideas. He just takes you on a journey where you get to telepathically talk to aliens. But it's up to you whether they actually speak and whether you actually hear them and converse with them. He just basically takes you all the way to the doorway. And it's so both he and Elizabeth April do this with people. They try to teach them how to meditate, how to, and they both apparently seem like, in my mind, if any of this is real, we have to start figuring out who are going to be guides to help us navigate this crazy world. And I want to put those two names forward as two living people. I mean, maybe the Dalai Lama, or maybe there's other meditators in Eastern religion. I don't know, but I'm wary of any organized religion personally.
Well, I'm not sure why religion is so against it, because that's basically what you're doing in prayer is you're opening a channel to God, right? You're anything that you hear, and scriptures talk about receiving communication from God. I don't understand why it's so controversial, right? The basic concept of telepathy, and really meditation is just a form of prayer. Prayer is meditation. Those things don't seem like they should be so mutually exclusive, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and a lot of the scripture stories talk about, God revealing things to people, and it's not in ways that other people can see or hear, right? Oh, are you leaving CryptoVoxels, or are you still there?
No, I'm still there. I'm just
Okay.
putting my avatar back onto the video show.
What was Elizabeth's last name? I missed
Elizabeth April.
April. There we go.
Yeah.
And you met her on the Danica Patrick show.
Yeah, that was my first introduction to her. It's a nice hour-long interview. I mean, I think to really give someone a shot, if they can sit down for an extended an hour-long interview, you tend to get a sense of whether they, you can get a sense of what they're about.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think I just found it, I do have some critique of Stephen Greer just as a meditator. I think it was I would really like his guided meditation, but not with his voice. Like, I think the content, and I think that's part of, probably why, he might rub someone the wrong way. It's like, if you're going to be like, really like, I don't know. It's just like having other people speak and not have it always be your voice can be good. That's all. That's a suggestion.
I mean, his voice is not like Kennedy's voice, but I get what you're saying, that after a while it can be a bit, it's not as soothing for meditation, right?
Well, it's just like some people, but I do feel like both of them, I would love to have both of them on a panel. And then, I mean, then there's more than them that I think there's a lot of people that claim to have telepathic communication with aliens. And if the aliens are not going to land on the White House lawn or land in Port Townsend, Washington, and come out and start establishing diplomatic relations, then these telepathic communicators are our channel to talk to the aliens. And so, like, why not give them a shot and actually bring them here and let's talk to them? I'd like to ask some live questions. I mean, Elizabeth April apparently hosts things with her people, and she sits there and talks to aliens and talks to people and there are people through history that have done this, like and one really famous old one is Helena Blavatsky, the founder of Theosophy. She had some legendary telepathic connection with aliens, and she wrote these massive books that she claims were communicated to her from aliens.
When you look at a lot of the scriptures that have been written, they have been written because the person believes they are being communicated to, right? Like the whole Book of Mormon is supposedly channeled from God, right? And if you just look at gods, angels, Jinn, all of those things as beings that we don't really understand, that are non-human, right? Really, what is the difference? Why do we get so caught up in labeling them alien or gods, right? We pretty much, you get this phenomena seems to be pretty universal, that people communicate with things that are not human, right?
Yeah. Well, that's you're making me realize that's the big difference between what like North American culture has done with aliens versus other cultures. Like the way they don't let us and I guess it's like in the Christian world, they have you not talk about aliens because they stigmatize it as a joke and they laugh at you if you bring it up. But if Jinn are real and you take them seriously as your culture, then it's not a laughing matter. It's totally inappropriate to laugh at someone talking about what a Jinn is or did, or because it's like laughing at something as serious as God or the devil or any other supernatural thing that really exists. It's not a joking matter, but in our world, it's a it's you're laughed at. You're told that's a joke. Or I guess the other side of that is you're told it's the most important, evil, powerful thing on earth, and your life will be ended if you share what you know and break, the secret. So it's like it's either a total joke and we laugh at you, or it's the most serious, your life is on the line topic on earth. There is no in between. But that's what the Jinn are. The Jinn are in between. They're a real thing. It's not a laughing matter, but maybe they're not the most important thing or most powerful thing in the universe, even though some people want to treat them that way. And that's basically part of the mess we're in. There's some species of alien that is, now that I think about it, that would be a really interesting distinction between non-human intelligence. Non-human intelligence that is on Earth and hidden is Jinn, versus non-human intelligence that comes from another planet is Anunnaki. Like because that's literally what Anunnaki means, is from another planet. And so, but I mean, anyways, I do think there's Jinn, and I think there seems to be a lot of evidence there is Anunnaki and there's Jinn, and or there is non-human intelligence that's very powerful off Earth that can probably travel between galaxies, or because they seem to have, and then there's non-human intelligence hidden on Earth that doesn't, it's not the most powerful thing in the universe, more powerful than us, the United States perhaps, but just a big fish in a small pond here on Earth.
Well, and even the Quran has a concept outside of jinn and outside of angels that like corresponds to the biblical Nephilim, Jibarin, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. The Hebrews call it Jibrim. That they're possibly a giant race. So definitely something else that's not human, right? In all the major religions, there are all kinds of references to beings that are not human, right? Whether they are gods, whether they are angels or fallen angels or demons, or just plain out other species, right? And we get so caught up in rejecting the idea of aliens, but if we just looked at it as other species, and I do like that when Grusch came forward as a whistleblower, he said non-human entities and non-human biologics, right? Because we don't really know what they are, right? We don't know where things are from, but I mean, if you look at it from that perspective, there should be a lot more unity on this issue. There's so much argument and naysaying saying, I don't believe in aliens. But if you just look at what the word alien means as non-human, almost everybody could start agreeing on that.
Yeah, I like how David Grusch said it opens the aperture. It's just, you just got to open it's sort of like just like that discussion that we just had with our drop-in guest a moment ago, where he was talking about, oh, well, if you're going to say aliens are jinn, then okay. It was like there we solved the problem of communicating across cultures by just agreeing alien and jinn are the same thing, and angels. Like, now we can just talk about them, just like, and wouldn't it be amazing to know that's what I was trying to ask him. Like, have you actually encountered a jinn or angel or known anyone? Because that's when it starts to get interesting. Have you ever known a village that has an agreement with a jinn? And it sounds like he was naming a spot that might be the case. Like, he's like, yeah, there's Jinn land. It's just like there's Jinn town. You go down there, and we have the same thing in skinwalkers in Navajo lands. I'm hearing that's it's sort of like, yeah, you want to see the invisible beings, you go to the skinwalker land of Navajo, and
well, and the belief is that they can be in almost any form. They can be in animals, they can be in humans, they can be in a rock. But yeah, there actually is a place in Saudi Arabia where people believe that the jinn are very present. So yeah, wouldn't it be fascinating to go there, right?
Yeah. I mean, it would be fascinating to communicate with non-human intelligence, whether you would do that by going somewhere physically or telepathically. It's just like, as long as, I mean, the danger, well, I mean, there's danger to that. There's danger to
Mhm.
that concept. That's why I think this is such a mind melding, disturbing concept. It's not, I don't even think it's aliens are real. That's not the difficult thing. Everyone pretty much says, in the trillions of stars in our universe, everyone says, oh yeah, of course they're real. It's very different to say they're real and they're possibly in your head. That's like different. That's a different level of real. And that's why people get afraid and jump scare when something
Yeah.
suddenly appears right in front of
Middle school girl sleepovers playing with the Ouija board. What is on the other side of that, right? That's again a form of meditation and communication, right? And lots of jump scares certainly happen there, right?
you. Yeah.
But again, we stigmatize those things so harshly, right? When so many people are experiencing parts of that phenomena. And just really, we get so caught up in labels. If we just put it all in one big melting pot and said, yeah, we agree there's something else besides us, then it'd be a lot easier to discuss and explore, right?
Yeah. And I mean, I'm jealous of a culture that I'd like to be able to go to the dinner table and be like, hey, you know what? Looks like the other people on Earth are starting to realizing Jinn are real. We've been known this forever. Hey, can you get your buddy, the Jinn, on the phone and let's see what they're going to do about this? Because, I mean, there's got to be something going on behind the scenes. What do the Jinn want? What do and that's interesting that it said there's Jinn and angels. Is that basically that he's saying Anunnaki? Like, is it there's Anunnaki are the off-world aliens that he's calling angels, and Jinn are the on-world aliens that in Christianity maybe they call demons
Or
and
fallen angels, yeah.
yeah.
And isn't it interesting that parallel that the jinn can possess a person? And in Catholicism, we have, demon and fallen angel possessions with exorcisms and processes to get people out of that scenario, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, there's lots of correlations there. Yeah, I wish he had stayed to talk some more, right? It's hard when someone comes in and says, convince me,
Well,
right?
that's not
It's
really what our show is about. We're not
right.
convincing anyone of
And,
anything. We
yeah,
agree. I mean, he already believed in Jinn. It was like there was no convincing.
right.
We really just were talking about Jinn and aliens interchangeably immediately, and he already believes in the Jinn part. So I think it might have been, that might have been something for him to think about.
But hopefully he got his answer before he left.
Yeah. Well, plus it's recording. We're recording. He could always come back
Yeah,
and listen to it.
yeah,
And who knows?
exactly.
It was fascinating.
So when you meditated with the Stephen Greer technique, did you feel like you got in contact with anyone, or did you just feel peaceful?
Nope. I felt no contact with anyone in some unusual way. I felt, but because I've realized that on that college volleyball trip that I might have mentioned before, where I had a strange, seemingly definite telepathic like experience in my brain, I now have one point of reference where I know how blatant and strong it can be to get direct communication. So I have my eyes open for that whenever I'm meditating. But then in addition to that, I also have the normal, I have always assumed is the normal level of talking and voices in my brain at all times. And I don't know, do you have that when you don't talk?
My brain is very, very busy. I find meditation really difficult because it just doesn't shut off, right? Uh, and conversations with myself, and sometimes even like at night when I'm trying to go to sleep, I hear conversations from the day that I've had, right? So my mind replays things, replay in other people's voices, right? So there's always kind of a audible din going on. It sounds crazy to say that, but that's how my brain works.
No, it's not crazy at all. That's why it's wonderful to talk to someone else about what's going on inside your mind with, and that's why it's really nice to find someone that has spent enough time inside their own brain to be able to actually give any genuine helpful guidance.
I do have an early childhood religious experience that very clearly had communication from someone. At the time, I labeled it as God, but who knows, right?
Well, tell us the details.
It's pretty personal. I'll try to be brief. I'll try to be brief. My birth mom was mentally ill, and I went into foster care at age 6, and I was distraught about who was going to care for her. And every night when I got to my alone space, I would cry and I'd try to pray to God, to help her, to help me, and, felt lost basically. And couple weeks in, all of a sudden a voice popped in and said, someone has been born for you. There's someone for you. Don't worry. And I felt like a very warm presence, a very loving presence, a very parent type of presence. I was very comforted. And for the next 6 years at night, I would go and pray, and I would feel that presence there when I prayed, that everything's okay. And then when I hit puberty, it went away. I stopped having that presence. So interesting religious experience. I definitely felt like there was something outside of me. There's something that is not part of me, right? And I framed it in religion, right, at the time. And up until my 30s, I really framed it as that, as a religious God experience. But I don't really have any evidence that it was God per se, right? Never said, I am God, this is God talking to you. That's just my assumption of, well, who else would it be when I was a little kid, right? So that's very, very interesting experience. And the day that happened, coincidentally, is the day that my husband was born.
Whoa. They literally the same day?
Same day. How is that for weird experiences? So my husband is 6.5 years younger than I am. Very bizarre. But I kept very close track of the day, right? Someone was born today.
Huh.
Yeah. And when I met my husband, I had no idea when his birthday was. I didn't know for months, really, in my friendship with him.
That is so cool.
Yeah, it's very odd, very bizarre. And even when I found out his birthday, I didn't put it together, right? I was a grown up. I wasn't looking for that anymore. When I was a kid, I used to ask people, when's your birthday? Right? Oh, little baby here. When's his birthday? When's her birthday? I'd be like a babysitter, like age 10 or 11, right? And it group, family group. I'm like, okay, 5 kids here. When's your birthday? When's your birthday? Yeah. But definitely, because of that experience, that opened my mind to the idea that there has to be something that's not us, something outside of our own experience, right? So, I'd hear stories of Joan of Arc or whatever, and I'd be like, yeah, well, somebody talked to me. Like, there's, And, I'd want to be, and it would happen anytime I prayed, even like, it didn't have to be at night. It could be in math class or whatever as a little kid. But yeah, I definitely felt a presence. And what is that? Who knows? How would I know? How do people know that it's aliens? Do the aliens identify themselves? Sometimes, right? Sometimes people say, I talked to Raziel, the Archangel Michael, or, um, Mary, when she was told she's having a baby, and her cousin, both of them, the angel identified themselves, right?
Huh.
But in the stories
Those
of the
are all the
Bible,
details.
right? But this presence never identified themselves. I, you know, so very, very interesting. And like some religions are like, you need to pray in a certain way. You need to say our Father, or God, or like some religions have very particular ways of praying. It didn't matter, you know, for me. Didn't matter what I said. Just as long as I was in that mindset that, okay, I'm praying now. Right. But as an adult, nope.
It doesn't work at all now.
Doesn't work at all now. I get nothing. Right. Very, very, very interesting. But I mean, I remember it. I've tried to study it and look at what other people's experience with prayer are and meditation, right? But maybe I just have such a hard time getting to a place of quiet as an adult, right? Maybe my brain is just too noisy. I don't know. It's a lot easier as a kid.
Yeah. Well, I've been I built a meditation spot in my on my property. I've tried to build it in several different locations in Port Townsend. Trying to figure out like the perfect place to sit, perfect for back support, perfect for like what I'm facing. And it's like but I think I've like come up with something, and I've really got a great spot now in my right, in the back corner of my yard. And it's really nice to have something that close to the house. I used to, when I lived at a community, I built one sort of in the woods of the community. And it was great because it was like I could walk out this 5-minute walk into the woods right there and sit and meditate and for an hour. And it was just like, it was so great to be able to quickly have it. But then people got upset with me that I made the spot in the woods, and then we had to leave the community. Not in all, those aren't all like connected dots, but
well, now you have a private place where you can't be like interrupted. That's a huge positive versus somebody might be walking by or whatever.
Yeah.
In other locations.
Yeah, the anxiety we have from other people being nearby is incredibly powerful.
Yeah, even if they're quiet, even if they're just passing, it can be super, super distracting, right?
Yep. Oh yeah.
So have you've been following Greer's techniques? Have you done it like on his scheduled days?
Nope. I've just
Okay.
listened to his guided meditation maybe 4 times over the last, I don't know, couple months. I just did it again today, but I very quickly stopped listening to what the voice is saying. I even slowed him down to like 0.25 speed. So that way, he couldn't, I mean, it was just like one, he was just talking a little too much. You don't need someone in your head every second telling you a new idea. Really, you could have one every few minutes, and it would be plenty of entertainment and stimulation. But that's one of the weird things about the meditation world is you're either taught sit there in total silence, bored out of your mind for an hour, or sit there while I talk every few seconds and dominate your mind like a hypnotist. Those are the only two choices. And it's like the in between is where you can actually like find interesting things and not be suffocated by another human being.
What about music? Have you tried music?
Oh yeah, music, definitely. Music is a great, especially music that just occasionally might even have some words and meaning and then goes back to music. And dance and then movement. But it's like it's like talking should be just not really part, but you could have signs, you could have visual signs in case you need to communicate, like it's just like you don't have to be sitting there in the dark choked on silence versus having to listen to some person hear their voice, because it's like you're just like it's too safe a space, because it doesn't it's so easy to ruin a safe meditative space when some guy comes in and goes, okay, now let's do an together. Oh, I have to share this poem with you.
Oh
I felt
goodness.
this morning. It's just like you're done. It destroyed everything. Everything you built that had to do with God is ruined by this, this guy's silky smooth voice, which he's used so many times to teach the world he's good. Or I mean, I've encountered also like the over zealous as one person who was like in the middle of like this silent dance just yelling out like, yes, we can have it all, or like just like it's all ours, or like, can you feel it?
Oh goodness.
It's like yeah, it's just like the things people do when you find that you create these sacred amazing spaces, and then it's like there'll be like 100 people in like enlightened bliss, but then one ego is like, I must fill this space with all that I have to share with the world.
It happens in churches too, right? It's yeah. Just that random amen or hallelujah can,
Yeah.
and that's literally that same concept of I just need someone to acknowledge me this moment or something. I don't know.
Yeah. And then the opposite of that though is like going to a concert or a ball game where you're allowed and welcome to yell and express at the loudest you can. And I like that also. I just don't think they're the same thing.
Right.
Not
Right.
the same. And the people are like, we're at a ball game now because we're in silence and you're all quiet to pay attention to me.
Yeah.
Just like, I want it to be the size of a stadium there and the distance to be that, so that if they're yelling or whatever, I want them to be like tiny and small and far away.
Or just part of a general background noise, right?
Yeah.
When you get there, it's like the background noise is just kind of static, right? Yeah, that's too funny. I am so curious. You mentioned earlier about Elizabeth April saying that some celebrities were reptilian. How does she do that without getting like libel or slander?
I know. It's so weird. Like one I'll name because they're dead. The Queen of England, she was straight up on it.
Wow.
She's even telepathically talked to the Queen of England while she's been dead.
Oh wow. Oh, so she can talk to people that are dead too.
Well, I just remember hearing her tell a story. She ran into her at an event.
The Queen's just wandering around the world as a ghost attending events.
Yeah,
wow.
Apparently the Queen said to her that she really did try to do her best while she was on Earth.
Aw. That is exactly what she would say too, right? Like that's
Right.
so on point for her personality, because she is truly one of those people who just seemed so to try to be good.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. And she will talk about, I think she's sort of in the star seed school, that some people are star seeds. And if Do you shall we
Yeah, we
explain
haven't
to our
talked
audience?
about that or indigo children at all or anything like that.
Oh, I've never
Uh,
connected it to the indigo children thing. What if we
Yeah.
first this could be the we could always ask AI, what's a star seed?
I would love to hear what AI had to say about that. What is a star seed, and is it the same as an indigo child or not? Right?
Oh, well, let's just go to a little chat GPT and we'll switch our window capture from crypto voxels to chat GPT. Hey, chat GPT.
I mean, again, in religions, most religions have a concept of chosen people and chosen, whether it's a whole group of people, whether it's their priest or leader or king, right?
Yep. Do you want me
So,
to
yeah, I'd love to hear what AI has to say about star seeds and indigo children, right?
oh, shall I just
Is
play it through an audio thing, or should I
Sure,
just read it?
or you can read it, whatever's
Well,
easiest for
we'll
you.
just do the first paragraph. A star seed is a term that originates from New Age beliefs and spiritual teachings. It refers to the idea that certain individuals living on Earth have origins from other star systems, galaxies, or dimensions. Star seeds are believed to have incarnated on Earth to assist in the planet's evolution, bring higher knowledge, or help humanity in some spiritual or conscious capacity. And here are some common beliefs and traits associated with star seeds. 1, soul origin. Starseeds believe their souls originated from a different star system, galaxy, or even another dimension. Feelings of not belonging. Many starseeds feel out of place, do not fit in with the rest of humanity. 3, higher purpose. They often believe they have a mission or a higher purpose, and I guess that's because they do. Number 4, advanced abilities. Some claim to have psychic or paranormal abilities or possess deep spiritual wisdom, such as, it just describes like how April Elizabeth lives her life. I don't know if Stephen Greer has ever claimed or admitted that he probably thinks of himself as a starseed. I've heard him say he thought he had super higher purpose. And I'm not questioning that. He does seem to be, right on the cusp of the most important topic in human history. So he's in with the most important stuff. Anyways, more on star seeds. Advanced abilities. 5, interest in the cosmos. Many star seeds have a fascination with space stars and otherworldly topics, may be drawn to sci-fi or metaphysical topics. 6, dreams and memories. Some report having dreams, visions, or memories of other worlds, lifetimes, or extraterrestrial encounters. I have to guarantee if I had any of that, it would really affect me. Number 7, different types of starseeds. There are different types of starseeds based on the supposed place of origin, such as Pleiadian, Sirian, Arcturian, and more. It's worth noting, blah, blah, blah. This is all nonsense. That's what ChatGPT likes to say at the end of these things. I'm going to ask it, tell me about these different types of star seeds, just to get some details. Because I've heard of, and have you heard of draconians?
Yes, yes. Draconians are in a lot of mythology.
Yeah, so it's interesting that draconians are not one of these star seeds. I'm just going to ask, are there draconian star seeds? Because it seems to me, I'm hearing the draconians are basically the ones that founded our civilization and created this mess of corporations that we have right now. It's their preferred structure of controlling society. And they're
Well,
also,
aren't they supposed to be like violent, aggressive
oh,
reptilians?
they are, I'm getting the impression they're just, pure corporatists. They just don't care about anything except money and what you do in a corporation. It's just a game to them, it's just like, how do you get more money and power? And it's like a game of Monopoly. It's just a big game of Monopoly of them. And in Monopoly, your goal is to wipe out everyone else. That is what they believe is the way it works. They're just jerks.
Right.
And so I don't even know.
Yeah, we use that in language, meaning that someone is harsh or strict or severe in their leadership style, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
well, it's just being a gamer. I mean, if you play a video game,
mhm,
you're not immoral because you slaughter your opponents. It's just
right.
part of the game.
That's a great way to refer to a corporatist.
Yeah, they're just gamers. I mean, I think the main thing is that they don't believe in God. They have to be basically because they only believe in authority. Like they
Mhm.
believe if you have more power than them and can punish them for something they do, they will believe in you because they're just pragmatic. They absolutely don't believe there's some special God watching. Well, see, that's actually where it starts to get interesting. If you believe the Jinn are real and are watching and can see anything you do, then you would at least not want to upset the Jinn, even if Jinn
Yeah.
aren't nice.
Yeah,
Right.
the concept that you're always being watched is such an intrinsic part of religion. Isn't that interesting when you think about that? Like I'd like to like talk to people that weren't raised with religion to see like does that concept exist for them but something else, right? Like I don't know, that external to you Jiminy Cricket conscious uh guilt. I don't know what else to refer to it as, right? Um but yeah, that that whole bit of telepathy, if you do something wrong, you're gonna feel guilty. Is that the Jinn telling you to feel guilty? Like because they're watching you, right? um
Well, I mean, I guess that's like, um, yeah, there's like two possibilities. If there's invisible beings and one of them is the Jinn, which is just they're like demons. They're not, there's nothing necessarily good about them. They're just beings, but you would still have a choice of whether or not to not offend them or to make them
mhm.
happy. You could live your life trying to offend or make them happy. And but then if you believe in God, there's another invisible being, hopefully much nicer, nobler, and it, kind of like the Anunnaki. We imagine these off-world beings being nowhere near as corrupt because they don't need to be. They have all the power they want. Why would they don't need to exploit humans any more than you and I need to exploit some, people in another country, like, or some indigenous tribe somewhere. We don't have to like, you know, we have technology on our side of the world. But anyways, I mean, those are like hidden in the background throughout history. There would be cultures who spent their effort not offending the Jinn and working with the Jinn, and others that ignored the Jinn completely. Well, the Jinn, you would try to ignore the Jinn, but you would see them as something super evil, and you would be trying to not offend this more nobler God figure. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So it's like there could be that could be the split. Like maybe in Islam, they they are actually trying to communicate with the Anunnaki because that's who they believe is God, or they believe they're trying to communicate with God, and they believe the Jinn are, more like demons. And in Christianity, maybe maybe Christianity is actually mainly in communication with the Jinn. Like maybe Jinn uh, are the actual heads of all Christianity, and that's sort of like the dark secret of the difference between Islam and, like, that's like literally maybe they see Christianity as a Jinn religion. It's literally a religion controlled by the Jinn. The head of the Jinn religion is the Pope, and it's really just a monarch. It's just a autocratic monarch. This Holy Roman Empire emperor is just a being. And
Well, I'm
maybe
pretty sure that the Muslims don't believe that like the Jinn don't correspond exactly to Christian demons because they can be good or bad. They're not inherently good or evil. Just like people are not, you know, they're a whole range of things. So some of them can be try to corrupt humans, where other ones are benevolent and friendly. Um, yeah, when I and at university, I took a mythology class, and like one of the first things that the professor said is, "What if I told you that Satanists believe that they are worshiping God?" And I was like, "What?" Right? So, well, some Satanists believe that their Satan is actually God and that God is Satan and that everything is upside down.
Wait, you say that again?
Like I was like, what? In this mythology class, the professor said that some Satanists believe that they are not worshiping Satan, that they are worshiping God, and that somehow Satan and God have swapped places.
Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. Like, and so they would be like Christianity is actually worshiping the evil one, which would be the monarch of the reptilian aliens, and it would be the reptilian alien monarch's patsy in the role of Pope or any of the most powerful points on Earth. The President of the United States, everyone that they could control would be under the control of this reptilian monarch, probably with super telepathy. And then that would mean if you really wanted to have a religion that believed in God, you have to, you have to have a different religion. So it could be anyone, any other religion. It could be Satanist, it could be Judeo, but yeah, and that would be, and of course, if your religion was based around a fake God, you would demonize the real God as Satan. That would be that's what you would do. And if you're real God, you would call Satan Satan, and Satan would try to pretend to be you, just like Loki in the movie Thor. And
yeah, so it's interesting, like so there aren't necessarily one-to-one comparisons, right, of things in the different religions, but some of the basic overarching concepts of there being good things and bad things, and there being things that are not us, that exists in all the different religions, right?
Yeah. Well, there is a way to test a religion to see if it's the good guys or the bad guys, if they're worshiping Satan or God.
How would you test that?
Well, you have them write down 10 important values or edicts that represent their religion. And we'll just start with like 1, true or false. Do you suffer a sorceress to live? Tell us the answer. And we pretty much like true or false. Women are equal to men. I mean, pretty much there you find, what? If Satanists are the only ones that say, sure, sorceresses and witches are fine and happy and beautiful and good, then maybe they are the only valid, religion on earth. Because Christianity still says that in their Bible. They still say, so anyways, you tell by what do they say? What are their values? Give us your top 10 beliefs or values. And if it's obey authority at every turn, that's one type of religion. If it's like question authority at every turn and question things, that I would say is, that's like a Buddhist, more chaotic, pagan, anarchist.
Right, Eastern versus Western.
Well, even a philosopher in the Western world, that's what a philosopher is, someone that will question any belief, and they have the right to, it's their purpose. So we have that, but we separate the philosopher from the spiritual leader until someone like Stephen Greer or Elizabeth April comes around, and they basically become this like controversial living, philosophical guide through the matrix of ontological shock that is, human existence. So yeah, so which religions are actually guiding you through that, and which ones are basically just a really long-winded way of saying obey authority and do what I say, serve me, worship the authority, obey the church, obey the corporation. And that, like, in the only difference, the Draconians just know that all these religions are just corporations. The Draconians are like, it's all a joke. There is no, in their point of view, unless maybe there is, maybe the Draconians, I'd love to know which religion they actually, maybe they're Buddhists, maybe what do the Draconians believe about these corporatists, these people that just like will do anything they can get away with along corporate rules because they just don't think there's ever going to be consequences, and they can just go on exploiting the world and kidnapping and assassinating and stealing resources just because might makes right. There's never going to be a consequence for them. Do they believe there is any afterlife at all, or that maybe their plan's never to get there? I don't know.
It is interesting how there is a split between religions that your goal is to be saved and to be with your creator versus your goal is enlightenment. Right? There's there is a giant split in religion there. Yeah. I like your values test. That's interesting.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty close to making a nice matrix of big like beliefs about the nature of the universe, aliens, UFOs, like a list of maybe 25 really solid beliefs, and then a list of people that we know, minds that seem to be trying to answer these questions. And I would have Stephen Greer and Elizabeth April and a whole set of people that claim to get their knowledge through remote viewing. And then I'd have a set of people like, that are super scientific, minded, and then people like Elizondo and Coulthart and Grusch and even Ryan Graves and David Faber or Fravor, and just see, how many people on this list believe in reptilians. But also another big question is, everyone else, do they believe in God? It's a really important question. Does a species believe in God and believe in freedom of religion? That's a really it really will guide us a lot to what they're like.
Yeah, I wonder if there's any religions that actually just straight up believe in aliens.
Besides the Jinn and angels. But they
Right.
don't seem to believe in the, I mean, I'd love to learn more what they actually believe, because it's almost like, I think in the Christian religion, you can say that they believe in demons, but we don't really. I was raised Catholic. We don't really believe in demons. I suppose if people were possessed, if I encountered that, I guess I might take demons more seriously. I don't know.
Well, I think that's more of a Christianity from, the late 1800s to early 1900s belief system of, fire and brimstone, and you're being tempted by demons or the devil. Naughty children would, grandparents that I have talked to, talk about being told that they're being tempted by Satan, or that they made bad choices because they, listened to the idea of demons. I think it used to be a lot more in the Christian religion than it is now. Right? Now it's much more, that was your choice to sin, versus you were influenced and you succumbed to the influence. It is interesting because it really is Christianity has warped that way a bit, right? Where it's more personal now. Where the Catholics, getting forgiveness because you just listened to a bad demon, well, that isn't as much personal blame as you made a bad decision. Right?
Yeah, totally. I'm distracted by my cameras no longer tracking my avatar, so now I'm just like a
oh, you're getting the solid avatar like I did. Yeah. It is weird. Like you move around and nothing happens. My mouth moves, but
I'll just say I'm meditating now. Very still. Now I can change my avatar to a really
it stopped blinking even. I don't, yeah. I see you. I see you are a cowboy now. That's great. Oh, but when you move, nothing happens, huh?
No.
And you stop blinking.
Well, my camera, it might be because I tried to run OBS Studio and it might have interfered with the camera thing, and so now it's.
Yeah, I don't know what does it.
Or I did. I set it on a different version. Now I got it.
You moved. You moved. Yeah, how did you get it to move?
I had it on, my camera was on my OBS Studio camera, so I could show you that window.
All
right.
Maybe it's because I'm running Upwork. That might be why. Oh,
no. It was my fault. All good now. Okay, let's see. What should we do now?
Well, we had talked about our geniuses, and we checked in on AI. Do we have any calls to action for today? Try meditating.
Yeah, how about, I mean, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to like create good virtual world meditation spots. I guess that's why I was like I wanted to show the metaverse here. Because can I do that as I talk about? I'm gonna show.
Oh yeah, that would be great. Give us a little tour of your space.
Okay, so let me just put it on to the right.
Is my person in your way? Here, I'll step out. There we go.
No, not at all. And change to. All right, let me see. Did I get this to work yet? Turn off virtual background and bam. Not too bad. Okay. And I'm in. Okay, so here we are inside. There's Itsy Boom, Margaret. This is the metaverse. And this plot of land right here that I am flying over, where this Antarctica map, this is owned by me. I bought it a while ago, but we are in Cryptovoxels, one of the first metaverses. We're flying around up here on Cryptovoxels, and the metaverse, it's just a virtual world, but all the data is stored on a blockchain, or a lot of it is stored on a blockchain. Ownership is controlled on a blockchain. The data might be stored in a mix of places, but the idea is that it's a way to create a space of information and have it be a permanent sort of space where people can interact. And so you see my avatar and you see Margaret's avatar, but there could be 1,000 people standing here. And if we go to the map, let's see, I think this is working. This is the map of Cryptovoxel's world, and you'll see there's this continent. This is the first continent, Origin City, and then they just made more continents, and they can just keep on making these. There's no limit. And just like in our universe, there's really no limit to how much you build. And this is an old one. We also have Utopia 42, which we can show you another time. But I'm showing you this because I'm going to turn this plot into a nice meditation spot and a dialogue spot and a place where Margaret and I can host shows, and we can leave all sorts of information and links here up on this wall. This is the latest from the front page, or a front page of hive1.net. And here you see I'm talking about, most of this is stuff I posted because not many people post on hive1.net. Why? Because I don't ever do marketing, and yeah. But anyways, and also it's not it's a handmade social media platform. It could be snazzed up, but it's basically going to be, it's what, Elon Musk is probably going to turn Twitter into. He's probably just copying us. Anyways, so this is me talking about the founding of the idea of a college of alien studies. Are you still there, Margaret? Or are you just like letting
I am. I'm listening.
Okay.
I'm clapping and dancing along.
Okay. I just like it. Okay. So, and I have a lot of talk on here about aliens and the nature of the universe. Oh yeah, this is a big one. This is a big realization. Taxes. I mean, one of the main things that controlling governments want to do is get taxes and get money. It's what powers always want. And so they've been using the the money laundering through the Pentagon and the Department of Defense as a secret way to tax the United States of America. And so the trillions of dollars that's been going into these secret it's not just money being stolen by these humans, bad actors, but I think we need to just recognize that's a tax. That is a tax that the aliens involved in this, whether they're Jinn or Anunnaki or whatever, they see that as their right. They are getting that as in a transaction with the secret keepers embedded in our government. There's some exchange going on there, and it is just a beautiful, wonderful thing that it's a feed line that we can cut off. And the moment that AOC and Matt Gaetz and Burchett like fully identify this line of money that goes not to these secret programs in our military, but out of the US taxpayer pool into alien hands, we are going to be able to cut that off completely, at least, and it will force the aliens to do something, because they're not going to like that. It's cutting off a line of water. They're being paid that. It's like homage. They think they are basically, that's their deal with humanity on Earth, is they get this secret hidden money channeled out of all human governments to them that they can use probably for human labor and stuff as ever they want. So if we cut that off completely, they're going to have to use something else, and they're probably going to go to Bitcoin or crypto, or they probably already are. Anyways, that's one line of thought. But we're going to cut off their tax line.
Yeah, that would definitely help bring accountability, right? You get your money, you get your money when you tell us what the heck you're doing.
Yeah. And so anyways, it connected to this thought that I saw up here on the Hive One wall. Either way, the controllers of people always want taxes paid. The alien secret keepers have been taxing us through shady Department of Defense programs that grift and that have grift as the ending. What you gonna do then for your kicks if you don't get that money? Steal more cow blood. That's my alien joke. Anyways, if U.S. Congress successfully exposes all illegal funding of alien or non-human control programs and cuts off funding for all such programs, how upset will the beneficiaries of that theft be? Because they have to be talking about it right now. They're about to lose this wonderful source of free money. But if they negotiate a new and transparent deal with humanity, they can get a new deal. Anyways, so I'm going to create a meditation space here and also have links to Utopia 42 and Hive 1. And we're going to have future podcasts, live events right here, and you can join us in the virtual world, and we'll have it broadcast up on the wall here. So anyways, I just wanted to show that to people.
Yeah, that's great. You actually set up an event in here.
Yeah, they have a nice robust system.
How are you flying?
Oh, F. You hit F and you hit spacebar and you can just keep flying.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, and I have this focused on Antarctica here because I have some thoughts about Antarctica I wanted to share.
Yeah, I like how it's in the middle. So appropriate, right? And actually, you've lined it up. You've lined up the countries quite well.
Yeah, I want to do I was almost going to do it today, but why don't we just say, all right, I want to say something off the record that we're going to bleep out about our next meeting.
Okay.
And the secret is, I'll mute it for the Twitter space.
Okay.
All right, so at least Twitter space, they're not hearing this. I think we should say our next meeting is going to be like at one of these little cities like the Rio Galapagos or Tierra del Fuego up here in the upper left of the screen. You see these guys? Cape Horn of Strait of Magellan, or maybe even if there's any like little settlements here on this tip of the South Orkney Islands or South Shetland Islands. I think we want to say we're doing a live show and like invite and pretend, and then during the show we're both just going to have virtual backgrounds that pretend like we're in a pub at one of these places. But I just want to see how the universe reacts to the idea of a live show getting this close to Antarctica. This seems to be like, a really key point to Antarctica. Anyways, I'll now undo the Twitter space. So anyway, so we're going to talk about on Twitter, like we're really going there.
All right. Okay.
Something like that. Yeah, so I
Okay.
guess the surprise is like the next show, I think we do from a surprise location, which we don't have to announce this moment, but we'll announce it soon somehow.
All right. Well, we can announce it on Twitter. How far ahead can you schedule a Twitter space?
I bet pretty far, but yeah.
So you can announce it when you schedule the Twitter space. Do you want to do that for Tuesday or Thursday of next week?
Well, we could at least, maybe we should make nominations. Let's nominate 3 places. Do you have it? Do you have any nominations?
I need a map.
Okay.
But
Well, we don't have to nominate now. But actually, yeah, I'm going to nominate one. I'll nominate something that's on the map that I have on my screen here. Somewhere, if there is any sort of settled, maybe this Rio Galapagos, whatever. Can't really tell what that is. But let me see if I look at the globe here. Can I read that? Cape Horn. No, I can't because I marked over it. Anyways, it's maybe I'll just set it as a goal. I'd like it to be a goal that we do someday a show from somehow from these remote locations. Maybe we could just get someone that lives there to go live on a camera and join our Zoom call, and we can then consider that a remote connection to that spot. And then because there's so many theories on Antarctica, it'd be fun. Just like that guy that dropped into our show is interesting to just talk to him. Like just walking into a pub.
Wasn't it fun? Yeah. Just walking into a pub and seeing what people have to say, right?
Or I mean, that'd have to be one of my nominations. That town the guy suggested, the Jinn different areas. Like if we could get someone to join us on Zoom from there, I think that would be a great another great connection. And then maybe someone down on a Navajo reservation, the Skinwalker, maybe that's like I mean, I'd also love to go to these places. Really, I would totally just fly to go to these. And, do you remember, the UFO Rabbit Hole podcast?
Yes.
And Kelly Chase, amazing podcast. If you want like someone that does a really disciplined, scripted show about UFOs and aliens, it's not us, but Kelly Chase does. But she was helping organize a UFO convention that was going to be at a hotel near Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, and something happened to prevent the entire conference from happening, and the whole thing got canceled. And yeah, and it was very interesting. And Kelly just sort of posted something on Twitter that said she's no longer associated with that event, and it just sort of disappeared. But they claimed that they couldn't get insurance to use the hotel near Wright-Patterson, and it sounds to me like that was like the powers that be around Wright-Patterson like maneuvered to prevent it from happening. Like they were really threatened by it. And I was always curious why they were trying to have this event at the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. It was really inconvenient. It was really expensive and difficult to get to, but I was going to go. And so I just sort of feel like there was a interesting power in just scheduling an event and trying to schedule an event somewhere on Earth that is near stuff you think is important. So I think like that could be a fun project for our show, is to try to have a remote connection during different broadcasts, and then we could like use the metaverse and we can have windows to each of these different places. Like you and I are 2 windows, but we could add more windows to places. Anyways, those are some of my thoughts for.
Yeah, it makes you wonder if that Wright-Patterson thing, was basically a form of censorship there. You and I have talked about, ChatGPT and search engines seem to be censoring some things versus others and reusing old content, right? I definitely, that seems like some external censorship there for some reason.
Yeah, well, and
Right.
it's information, you know, if something is, you know, if a chat GPT or a large language model is resisting going to some topics, that teaches us something about whoever's on control of the other side. If there is literally terror at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base of having 10 geeky UFO, you know, ufologists in a hotel next to there, they're so afraid of that they will like pull maneuvers to block it, makes me want to go there more. And it like, and it also just tells you, it's like, you know, everyone in Congress that is still downplaying aliens and UFOs, it tells you about them. It tells you where they are, what they believe. I mean, oh, and we also got to mention the Republican debate happened and a UFO question was asked.
Oh, I missed it. What?
Yeah, you want me to just cue it up and play it?
Yeah, I'd love to hear that. I didn't hear that at all. I went to go do some dinner stuff. Oh,
All right, let me cue it up for
oh, of course it would
posterity.
happen right when I left, right? Oh, oh my goodness. It's Chris Christie that got the question.
Yeah, let me see. Make sure I share this. I think I got it. Share sound. Share.
Do you believe that the recent spike in UFO encounters?
I get the UFO question?
Yeah, you do.
Come on,
There
man.
But, okay, we've been hearing a lot of testimony in Congress, and people are taking this a lot more seriously, and we're hearing that, you know, there are things going on that people aren't aware of. So, if you were president, Governor Christie, would you level with the American people about what the government knows about these possible encounters?
Martha, and especially coming from a woman from New Jersey, I think it's horrible that just because I'm from New Jersey, you asked me about unidentified flying objects and Martians. We're different, but we're not that different. Look, of course, the job of the President of the United States is to level with the American people about everything. The job of the President of the United States is to stand for truth. The job of the President of the United States is to be a role model for our children and our grandchildren. And so whether it was UFOs or this problem of education, and Tim's right, by the way, and I started this in 2010 by going right after the teachers unions in New Jersey and drove them down to an all-time low popularity rating because they were putting themselves before our kids. That is the biggest threat to our country, not UFOs.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey.
What a cop out. Distract to a topic that he likes.
That is the first time that I listened to that, like from beginning to end, really carefully. Can I just play one more bit of that again?
Sure. I love I got the UFO question, right?
Yeah.
Like obviously they had been prepared.
Let's see. No, it's not.
Oh, it's not loading. Come on, internet hamsters, you can do it. Oh, something's happening.
I think it's horrible that just because I'm from New Jersey, you asked me about unidentified flying objects and Martians. We're different, but we're not that different. Look, of course, the job of the President of the United States is to level with the American people about everything. The job of the President of the United States is to stand for truth. The job of the President of the United States is to be a role model for our children and our grandchildren. And so whether it was UFOs or this problem of education, and Tim's right, by the way, and I started.
Anyway, so he kind of actually weakens it by starting to talk about the education stupid part.
Yeah.
But the gist of the answer was actually really strong and powerful.
Truth. Yep.
And he was saying what I don't know that there's another answer they can give. I mean, that's great. I think he really set the, I mean, he didn't set the stage for how important it is, but his joking about it wasn't that aggressive. And the reporter, she still asked a really appropriate, good question. They all need to answer that. It's like, and in a way, you got to be chomping at the bit to get to answer. It's such a slam dunk answer. Yes, we need to level appropriately without like unduly harming the US by revealing any super secret technology we have. But that was actually a pretty good answer.
I would have liked to hear something about accountability within our government, but saying that he would share the truth is at least a start, right?
Yeah, I would have just liked everyone else to have to answer. I was like,
Yeah,
hey, we
yeah.
got 10 minutes.
Take
Please,
turns.
next. I want to hear everyone. And if you all are going to just try to do a joke and then try to have a decent line, or at some point, like, what's your answer to David Fravor, who says that Tic Tac thing he flew could kill anyone on Earth if it wanted to? You could do nothing about it. It's a decorated Marine. Please give us your answer without a joke. Or if you want to joke about how easy it is for the Tic Tac aliens to kill any human on Earth because you just find it funny, that's fine if that's the type of leader you are. But we actually need to know, are you going to be able to defend us if the Jinn have flying, saucers that could kill any person and they happen to be aligned with Russia? Because we need to know, are the aliens aligned with Russia or China or North Korea? My suspicions are North Korea might literally be controlled by aliens because it's a pure theological monarchy. Not to mention maybe some other countries. But
yeah, it seems like, why would they bother with North Korea? North Korea is so disconnected from everything else, right?
Well, my theory is that there really were aliens involved in World War II. And there were some in Germany and there were some in Japan. That's why those two countries actually aligned. And so when Japan surrendered, those aliens, they had to go somewhere. And I think North Korea was their Vatican City. That is where they took North Korea, and every alien, I mean, maybe these Jinn can control brains. They literally they go inside your brain somehow. And so they just needed to migrate into some brains somewhere. So North Korea could be where they are. So it's like, could be North Korea. And then the other place could be the Vatican, because the Vatican has survived through I watched this amazing thing about the sack of Rome and how learned some fascinating details about it, but how the Pope never got killed. It's like, if you can get your entire city sacked, but you still get to sit in a fortress and eat, filet mignon every day, it's just the stakes for you are not the same. If you, through thousands and thousands of years, know your entire city. So there could have been aliens literally held up in the Pope and in the cardinals and in Vatican City for thousands of years, unmolested by humans. And they could have been, they could have come out, tried to take over Germany, and then retreated back into the Vatican after World War II. Anyways, just theories.
Well, it does seem like historically there's always been this fear about the weak-minded being controlled by outside forces. And that even goes into, what I talked about last time with politics and the fear of the nobility and power letting the common people vote, right? Yeah, it is interesting that there's kind of this overarching cultural fear of that the masses would be mind controlled, right?
Yeah. Ooh,
Anyways.
Do we want to talk about anything else? I wanted this thing I could, or we could talk about it next time. We could talk about the trillionaire risk board.
Is it long or is it short? We should probably be wrapping up for today, but
Well, I'm just like perfecting the trillionaire risk board to be able to show all major players in the game of life. So anyways, I'll like post that I'll release it with the show. Just an image of it.
oh good. Oh, like updated image of the board.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Shall we wrap up? We did a call
Sure.
to action.
What did we decide our call to action was today?
I would say, why don't you try meditating for, if you want, to just like check inside your brain to see if there's any telepathic aliens trying to talk in there, and just
Let
try
us
for
know.
15 minutes. Yeah. Try to sit for 15 minutes, listen in your brain, and know that you can actually tell things to get out of your brain. You have the right. Don't be bullied inside your own brain. How about that? That's like, don't be afraid of the truth. Don't be bullied in your own brain.
Don't be bullied in your own brain. Yeah, try meditating, and let us know. You can respond to Meditation Matt on Twitter or X, whatever we're calling it now. And come back for next week on August 29th. We'll be having another podcast. We want to give a special thanks to Ofecker on our Twitter space for coming out today and talking. Love to have more people join us in the Twitter space and tell us what you think and feel. And don't be afraid of the truth.
What's the truth they're hiding? Will it stay with the private sector? Or will it rebound? Will it hide it in the morning? Take a turn into the afternoon. Feel the truth that is slipping away. Don't believe it's coming back soon. The secret's not in Congress or elected ones we trust. In private hands it dwells. Do you know what?